Top reasons your career wants you to move to Ohio. So many amazing growth opportunities, high-paying jobs in technology, advanced manufacturing, engineering, life sciences, and more. You'll soar to new heights, just like the Wright brothers, John Glenn, even Neil Armstrong. Their careers all took off in Ohio, and yours can too. A job that can take you further, and a place you can't wait to come home to. Have it all in the heart of it all. Launch your search at callohiohome.com.
Stripe is the go-to choice for AI companies, from early-stage startups to scaled enterprises. 78% of the leading AI companies use Stripe to go to market quickly and scale globally. That includes pioneers like NVIDIA, OpenAI, and Perplexity. Stripe has developed cutting-edge tools to improve everything from fraud detection to checkout optimization. Whether you're aiming for incremental gains or planning for enterprise transformation, see how Stripe can help at stripe.com.
Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.
Filtrete brand air filters help capture unwanted particles in your indoor air, like dust, pet dander, bacteria, and viruses, and have similar airflow across all MERV and MPR levels. Now available in more dimensions and sizes.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Did you know that Game Pass or Pass is brought to you for free because of Spotify for podcasters? It's a totally free platform, and you can make a podcast today for free. Spotify for podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else that podcasts are heard. And if you're thinking about taking your podcast to the next level with a video podcast, Spotify can help you too. With Spotify for podcasters, you can also earn money in a variety of ways that includes ads and podcast subscriptions. So what are you waiting for? Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcast to get started right now.
It's now time for the sellout edition of Game Pass or Pass, the podcast where we normally play Microsoft's Game Pass service games. I messed that up, but that's okay because it doesn't really matter because this is not about Microsoft Game Pass. This is about Call of Duty, Cold War, Black Ops. This is our bonus episode that we will be doing as a, what's the word I'm looking for?
A bonus.
I was going to say because at one point we were requested to do a high frame rate mode up to 120 frames per second. TV is required in that situation. So let's talk a little bit of Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War.
I would like to say that I am above or past rather the idea that every Call of Duty is the same. They all suck. There's no point of making them. Blah blah blah. I think we all go through that phase. Some people, it's more than a phase, and they still want to yell at the internet and pretend that people are listening to them when they say it. But
no, I'm with you. I went through that phase. It was the original Black Ops. Actually, I remember. I went through. I have played pretty much every Call of Duty game. I went through that phase, and I was there for that original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, like trying to like playing that game originally and trying to tell people I was like, no, like you don't understand. Like this is one of the greatest games ever made. Like I'm telling people this, and they're like, no, I want to play Assassin's Creed. I'm like, put that crap down and go play Call of Duty 4. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played. So I've been on that wave of Call of Duty, but then when Black Ops hit, I was just like, I'm over this crap. Like it's the same freaking thing every game. And then I pick up Black Ops, I'm like, all right, well, I'm wrong.
Yeah, Black Ops is a little different. It hit a little bit different. Like, and that's the thing about Call of Duty. Like some of these, they hit different, and it's when they do, it's a welcome surprise. And when they don't, you can't get mad at them because you have to understand the business model by now. You know how they churn out these games. They're not going to be wildly different from the next. So that said, I play about every other I purchase every other Call of Duty. Even then, I probably skipped the last 2 purchases, and it's like when I came back to Modern Warfare, I was honestly kind of blown away just by the value itself. On top of that, it was a darn good game. Like it still is. Like it just came out a year ago, and it's still a very good game. It's still a very good value. This is the first time in a while that I've played Call of Duty back to back, however, and that seems to be an issue.
Yeah, and so I think that's going to be kind of the story of Black Ops Cold War, is that it's coming off of the freshest and probably the most well-received Call of Duty in a long time. I have played more Modern Warfare than... It had to have been the original Black Ops would have been the last time I put that much time into a Call of Duty. And it's also the first time that they adopted like the season pass, and it wasn't all about the DLC packs, et cetera, et cetera. So they have hit that stride of providing a string of content that didn't really cost that much. I mean, you got most of it for free. If you wanted some of the cosmetics and stuff, or you wanted to participate in the battle pass, there was ways to do it, but most of the time, actually, if you played enough and you got through that battle pass, you could have enough money to purchase the next battle pass. So they were very not stingy about it. There was the cosmetics, if you wanted them, they could be quite expensive, but they were completely optional. And I think that was a very smart move because it kept the player base going. It kept me going. And most of the time when you play the Call of Duty games, you either keep playing when those DLC packs come out and you purchase them, or you stop. And that's kind of how it had been for every Call of Duty for me before that. Minus, I think, Ghosts. Like, Ghosts just awful. Infinite Warfare
that's a bad one.
Yeah. Infinite Warfare was the other one where I tried to like it. I really did. And they actually did some really creative things. I liked
Infinite Warfare.
Yeah. They were close, but they didn't quite get there for me. It
wasn't quite that Titanfall feel.
Say that again?
It wasn't quite that Titanfall feel that they were. I feel like it was on a cusp of.
Yeah, and so it was interesting. But so coming off of Modern Warfare, they had a lot to do, and it's also going to be extremely hard to talk about Cold War, because when you look at Modern Warfare, where it started and where it is now, they're vastly different games in just terms of balance, flow, modes, etc., etc. So it's kind of hard to judge Call of Duty now because it's going to be a completely different game in 6 months. But unfortunately, that's just how it goes these days. You have to sort of give an opinion and see how it goes from there. So to get into Cold War, I think the biggest problem with the game is that I just don't know if I'm having more fun than I did than Modern Warfare, and that's a bummer.
Right. Like I struggle to determine if, because granted, I played both of these games for essentially free. So like I'm not out of any money. So speaking honestly about it, I'm just kind of like, if I was to pay $60 for Modern Warfare, I just would not pay a single dime for Cold War. And that's not because Cold War is a bad game. It's like, for me, it becomes of value in time. Modern Warfare is such a good value for your time that I struggle to find the purpose of Cold War. So when I played Cold War, I immediately started the campaign, and I was over it by the first level.
What I'll say is, comparing modes to modes, the campaign of Modern Warfare, flat out better. Like, there's stuff that we'll get into multiplayer about, what's better, what's worse, etc. But the campaign of Modern Warfare is just flat out more interesting, better designed, better story, better everything. The campaign of Cold War is short, a little bit uninspired. It's very predictable. And I don't think it looks particularly great. It looks okay. Even, I am running on a Series X. I'm getting the full ray tracing and 60 frames up to 4K image. Like, the only thing that's going to be better would be a super high-end PC. And it doesn't look bad, but art direction goes a long way. And everything about Cold War feels like it's trying to be hip, I guess. Like, hip's not the right word, but like, even the way like the music hits, it's very much got this 80s, like, we're all about the 80s, bro. Almost like a what's the name of that movie? Guardians of the Galaxy style. Like, it's trying so hard to get a reaction from you with the art and the music that I'm just like, for some people, I think it's going to hit. I think it's going to hit them hard. They're going to love the sci-fi. They're going to see everything coming a mile away. But for, I think, a lot more people, they're just going to be like, that's fine. Like, I played through it. I did the Call of Duty and I'm fine.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am. That's where I got to. I can't say I was impressed at all. If anything, I was really just bummed out by how Call of Duty it was. Like, it's just, the very first mission is just it reminded me honestly of a less fun version of those pop-up shooters or the light gun shooters. Like, I don't know if you played back in the day
Time Crisis.
Time Crisis. Like, even more recently, like that Rambo game that came out. Like, there's a light gun Rambo game. It was dumb, but it was dumb fun.
There's a Halo one too that was actually pretty good.
Was it really? I would play that because those games know what they are and they're fun, and that's what they are. It's that specific genre of game. Whereas Call of Duty just takes that premise and adds like a virtual body to it, I guess, where you're moving around and sprinting. It doesn't feel like you're doing anything in this campaign. Like, it literally feels like a pop-up shoot, like a gallery of rogues just jumping up and going, hey, here I am, shoot me in the head. All right, I'm going to go down. Like, here's my other friend. He's going to pop up and you shoot him in the head. And it's like, there's nothing to it. There's nothing.
Yeah. And you're not wrong, but I do want to like mention, because I know someone's probably like, yelling at their whatever device they're on. There are moments of the campaign that are not like that. There's a level in particular where it's almost like a Hitman game. Like, you kind of have different objectives and you can sort of tackle it the way that you want to. You can either kind of go in, I don't want to say guns a-blazing, but you can be more aggressive or you can be more strategic. You can knock people out or even kill them and stuff them in a closet, or you can take the time to sort of do the right thing and blend in, if that makes sense. But it's only one mission. And while I think that mission it serves as a good way to sort of mix everything up, it's 10% of the game. And the rest of the game is very much like you were describing of it's just a Call of Duty game. It's not, again, I don't want to sound negative because I don't think it's bad. I just think it's okay. Even as a Call of Duty game, I think it's just an okay campaign.
Yeah, and then that's the biggest, and you're right. It's not bad. It's the good and the bad. If you want more Call of Duty, you're getting exactly that. They don't take any real risks. They don't go above and beyond with the campaign missions. It's just kind of like, you know what you're going to get, and you got it. So if that's what you wanted, perfect. If you wanted anything more than that, I feel bad for you, son.
Yeah, it's just not there. They try doing a couple things with like side stories and multiple paths and picking an ending, and I just, that stuff to me just doesn't really belong in Call of Duty. I don't think it really adds anything to it. But it is what it is. And I think my sentiments are repeated when it comes to zombies. Zombies is still a great mode. It's still a ton of fun, but there's only one zombie map in this game. It's a little light on content in that regard. And while it's cool and, you can find fun Easter eggs and do cool things in zombies, it's not, it is what it is. Again, it's not bad, but it doesn't really do anything to mix up the formula. It's just another zombies mode, which it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
If you so the biggest critique of this game for me didn't come from myself, nor is it coming from you right now. It came from a friend of mine who was watching me play. It was, a friend of mine and my cousin was watching me play this game, and a friend of mine was just kind of like, "So is this the new Call of Duty or the old Call of Duty?" And it's like,
it's a genuine question.
Oh man, like if that's the question you have to ask about your newest video game, your newest anything really, is this new version or the old version, you have a problem with the current version, because it clearly doesn't show anything brand new. And I was playing zombies at one point when I was watching, and it definitely felt like just more zombies. And again, good and a bad thing, because great if that's what you wanted, just more zombies. It's the same. It's exactly what you expect for a zombie game type from Call of Duty, and it does nothing more, nothing less, and you really can't be mad at that.
Right, and so to transition into the multiplayer, that's a majority of where you're going to spend your time. Obviously, I don't think that's a revelation to anybody. This is going to be a very weird rant and a very weird connection.
All right. Let's strap yourselves in, guys. Here we go.
I look at something like the debate of running a new OS when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S, whereas the PlayStation 5 it's a new machine, right? It's a new UI. It can play the old stuff, but it's a new thing. Whereas the Xbox X and S, Series X and S, it's got the same OS. The benefit of running that same OS is that 95% of it works, right? Everything is everything's where it wants to be and where it should be. Whereas when you pick up a new OS, you kind of got to reteach yourself everything. And some things might be a little funky and weird, and something where you think it should be is no longer there because you just got used to it. I feel that way a lot about Cold War, in that there's certain things about it that I feel like should be there because they are so ingrained in me now, and they're not there. The biggest one being running up to like a wall or a crate or whatever and being able to mount on that crate. That became such a pivotal thing in Modern Warfare. The fact that it's not there is weird and jarring to me. I don't think I'm alone in that. And if you've played a lot of Modern Warfare and you start playing Cold War, you have to reteach yourself the game almost, because there's going to be so many things that you're used to doing and weapons that you're used to using that it becomes difficult to sort of retrain your brain. And the movement speed's a little bit faster, and obviously, weapons are going to behave a little bit differently. But it also comes down to stuff like balancing. Like the MP5, if you've been following anything about this game, is stupid overpowered. They finally nerfed it, and then for whatever reason, for like 4 hours when they pushed out the first patch for the game, it was unnerfed, and then they had to re-nerf it again. They nerfed that weapon by 33% across the board. That's insane. The fact that even exists at this point is extremely jarring to me, that I can't just... Weapon balancing should be better, and I think that's because, again, I'm coming off of Modern Warfare, which was so good.
I completely agree with that.
But that sort of encapsulates... Is that the word I'm looking for? Encapsulates my entire feeling about Cold War so far, in that it's not bad. I'm actually having fun with it. The new maps, I don't love all of them, but that's any Call of Duty game. But the fact that like I have to sort of relearn that sniper rifles are now once again lethal, and I have to learn that shotguns are a secondary weapon. Like that's all weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, like I completely agree with all of that. And again, the biggest problem with Cold War is the fact that Modern Warfare exists and that it's as good as it is. And the little things are definitely like there are some things, and I understand that there now 3, maybe up to 4 different teams making these games now.
Yeah, it's like 6, I think, actually.
Right? So I understand that things from game to game will be different, but there needs to be a standard. If you're going to make this game every single year, there needs to be some sort of standard. It'd be like all of a sudden playing Madden and there not being a hit stick. And it's like, that might be a thing, actually. I don't know. I don't play Madden. But whatever the case may be. So in terms of like peeking around corners and like slowly opening up doors and stuff like that, it's like this is all addition to gameplay. This is not take away from gameplay. It's not getting away with gameplay. Therefore, it should be added and become a standard across the board. But because the way they develop, it's like maybe that was in the game before they started or during the development for Cold War. And it's like it really just should be standard across the board, because now I'm playing the same game but almost completely different. And it's like, again, good thing and a bad thing. It's Call of Duty, so you expect that to happen. But for me, it's kind of like I just got off. I literally just got off Modern Warfare last night, and I'm playing Cold War again this morning, and it's like these shouldn't. It should. The small differences are too annoying for me to bounce back and forth between. I'm just going to stick with the one, and I'm going to stick with the one that I just spent 6 months to a year playing. Personally.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think we're at that point with Call of Duty to where they figured out the winning, like they figured out the winning formula with Call of Duty 4, right? They figured out the carrot on the stick. They figured out the leveling, and I believe it might have been before Modern Warfare, the remake, or whatever you want to call it, Modern Warfare 2019. The weapon levels, again, it might have been before, but like that was the big thing for my group of Call of Duty friends, was getting the gold skins on those weapons, and each individual weapon having its own tree along with your own sort of progression. So they figured that part out. But what I think they figured out with Modern Warfare even more was that, it's that argument of, does this really need to be a new game every year? Does it really need to be? And the answer for that question for a long time was yes, because for us to make money, we've got to put out a box product every year. And because the DLC alone isn't going to cover what we would make on a new game. Because like I said earlier, when that DLC comes out, one of two things happen. You either pick up the DLC or you drop the game. And I would assume that most people, if it would be skewed towards drop the game. They don't want to spend more money on that game. And then it also stifles the player base, because some people buy it, some people don't. But with stuff like Fortnite, introducing stuff like a Battle Pass, Apex Legends, and they've even done it with their own game in Warzone. They've figured that part out now. And I think you're going to start seeing, especially after Cold War, because looking at the reception of this game, I think people are starting to agree. It's just like, maybe we don't need a new game every year. Like, we would be totally fine with one game and just keep innovating on it. And maybe every couple years you do a new one, but you still bring everything forward. And all those little things will be ironed out because of it. If I could have hopped into this game and it was just new maps and maybe new weapons, or maybe they reset my progress, whatever it is, I think it would have stuck with me a lot more, because I wouldn't have had to relearn these weapons. I wouldn't have been killed by the MP5 literally by every single person on a team for 6 maps in a row. Like, all of those little things that I'm like, man, I'm enjoying this, but it's just not that polished feel that I want. All that would be gone, and I think this conversation would be going a lot differently. I think the conversation would be, the campaign's fine, the zombies is fine, but man, that multiplayer is still good. Like I'm going to keep playing this for hours and hours and hours. And I don't know if that's going to be the case with this game. I'm extremely curious of what's going to happen because they are following the same DLC route in that I think it's the 7th, December 7th, they're going to be doing the first season pass along with the first content drop, which is going to have new maps, new modes, etc., etc. I'll probably check it out then and see how the weapon balancing and stuff is. But at the same time, my Call of Duty group, there's two things that are holding them back. One is that higher price tag. You know, that it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Like, you know, $70 plus tax, you're looking at $75.
That's a lot. No, it sounds like a lot. It is a lot. It's too much. Period.
Yeah. And so, you know, I've got about 3 or 4 people that I normally play with, and one of them I game share with, so he got lucky. But you know, his brother and my other friend, they do have Series X's, and they're just kind of like, I want to keep, like, I don't know if I want to spend $75 when I've got Modern Warfare there, like, and I'm still having fun with it. So, and I feel like we're not even really discussing Cold War at this point. We're discussing more the business plan around it. But I think we are
because the games aren't that, like, again, to avoid saying all Call of Duties are the same, the games aren't that different. If you've played Modern Warfare recently, this is not an entirely brand new Call of Duty experience, and that's part of the issue. That's the main issue. It's not an entirely new experience. So by talking about Cold War, by talking about Modern Warfare, we're talking about Cold War at the same time for a lot of different aspects of the game. The differences that make up Cold War, to me, the Cold War and Modern Warfare are the differences of simply of the minutia, like the basic gun to gun gameplay. It's ever so slightly different. That time to kill is I want to say is a little better. I'm gonna say it's actually just flat out better than it is in Modern Warfare. I prefer it in Cold War personally. Like I feel like
it's longer.
I feel like the guns hit a little harder. I feel like there's more oomph overall. It feels a little more weighted overall. So if you like that aspect of Call of Duty, that's there.
Yeah, it definitely, like, those smaller things, like you're saying, like the one thing I notice is the overall movement speed is just a tad quicker. I feel like I'm getting to points a little bit faster. I feel like I'm sliding into stuff a little bit faster, and with that longer time to kill, because of all of that sort of combined, I feel like I'm a little bit more daring, I guess you could say, than I am in Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare, I would tend to be a little bit more reserved, but I mean, it also really depends on what mode you're playing. I play a lot of domination. That's the game type that I play. I throw in some kill confirmed every now and then just to sort of mix it up. But because of that, like, that longer time to kill, and like I said, it's a little bit faster, and that's cool. I think the one thing I really, really like about Cold War is they went back to score streaks versus kill streaks. And the difference is basically, you know, in most Call of Duty games, you get 3 kills, you get the UAV, obviously if you have it selected. You know, it went on your kills, but with Cold War, it's score streaks. So once you get, I don't remember the point value, so I'm kind of making them up, but like once you get 400 points, you get that UAV. Once you get 2,200 points, you get that, not missile strike, what's it called? Oh my gosh.
I can't call it. Can't call it. Don't know.
I'm gonna remember it as soon as it's over, and it's gonna drive me nuts. But eventually, you get the helicopter, you know, the attack helicopter, and the fact that I can still do maybe okay for a match and still feel like I'm participating is a great thing. But also because of that, like, these score streaks have a cooldown in that you're not just getting UAV after UAV on the map the entire time. And I am that person that whenever a UAV goes up, I'm that person that shoots it down. And not only does that help the whole team, but now because of the score streaks, it's actually aiding my my progression through my score streak tree, which is really cool because I am not the greatest Call of Duty player by any means. I am a support player. I'm the person that's going to be calling out stuff. I'm the person that's, you know, I'm the guy that will run in to save a flag, even if it means I get killed, because that's the type that I like to play. I'm not that person that's always sitting back and I'm worried about my KD spread over everything. So Cold War in that sense actually is better for me in that I feel like I'm participating more. But it's not enough to really, I still feel like Modern Warfare is the better playing game because of the way I play. So it's, again, I think it's going to depend on the player, but from most of what I'm seeing, most people kind of agree, or they're still playing Warzone. So,
and that's the big thing too, Warzone. Then when I do play Modern Warfare, it's Warzone. It's straight Warzone. I actually just uninstalled everything else, and you only have Warzone on the system, on the console. Like again, the value is there in both games. It's just a matter of there's a lower entry point for Modern Warfare. It plays fantastic, and I don't, after playing Call of Duty, after playing Cold War, I just don't see a reason to tell someone, all right, jump off Modern Warfare, come over to Cold War. It's just not there's no big thing there. Zombies is not good enough anymore. Zombies was refreshing the first time it came, the first time they introduced it, and then they added on to it and made it this huge, big kind of own thing. Since then, it's just been riding the coattails of being Call of Duty Zombies. It hasn't really advanced itself, nor has it regressed. It's just been zombies. The same thing with a lot of the game modes here, a lot of the multiplayer aspects. It has not regressed at all, but it also has not done anything to make you say this is much better than the previous year's version. I will say the campaign is complete and utter trash. There's no point in playing that at all. But I mean, I kind of wish I had better things to say about Cold War, simply because, again, as someone who does not play Call of Duty religiously or even often enough, Modern Warfare really started to bring me back into the series. Like, if someone asked me to install a multiplayer for Modern Warfare right now and pick it up again, I would. I do like the gunplay. I do like the gameplay. Like, I think it's just a well done game for Call of Duty, especially. But I can honestly say there's nothing in Cold War that does what Modern Warfare does exceptionally better.
Yeah, I'd agree. To kind of wrap it up, I feel a lot like I did during Black Ops 3, and where Black Ops 3 had a campaign that was, Black Ops is science fiction, but it's not that hardcore science fiction most of the time. Black Ops 3 was that exception. Black Ops 3 was a campaign of that game was wild, man. Like, that game was weird. It was all about, like, people's, like, inner monologue and their inner soul in their exosuits. You were in, like, someone's brain, actually, the whole time. Like, it is weird. It is a weird game. And then that was one of the class-based ones. Like, they had specific characters that had specific, I don't want to say traits, but, like, it wasn't like an Overwatch or anything, but it kind of was. It was like an Overwatch light, to where each character had their own particular ultimate, and, one had a bow and arrow, and one had a shock shield. It was all that stuff. Cold War is not that, but I feel very similarly in that I was playing Black Ops 3 and I was like, this is fine. Like, this is cool, but it's not what I go to Call of Duty for. And that's what I felt when it came for a lot of Black Ops Cold War. Like, while the multiplayer is there, and I think it's a much better game than Black Ops 3 in that regard, I still feel like the reason that I play Call of Duty, and the reasons that a lot of people play Call of Duty, is for everything that's in Modern Warfare. And to an extent, probably Black Ops 4. I think Black Ops 4 was a much better game than this as well. In that it's the core gunplay, it's the core map design, and it's the core progression. That is 85 to 90% of what people play. And when you start mixing with that too much, I think that's the result that you get is Black Ops Cold War and like Black Ops 3. It's just, you got to innovate on that core gameplay, and that's where you should stick to your guns, and sort of keep it there. And that's, while I think Cold War is a fine game, when you start factoring in everything that we've talked about, along with the higher price tag, it's rough. It is rough for me to say that you probably already have this game if you wanted it. But if you're on that fence of just being like, man, like, maybe you got a Series X or you got a PS5 and these consoles are kind of starved for content, like any new generation. They're sort of starved for content, and a lot of people end up picking up something that they normally wouldn't. Like, I picked up an Assassin's Creed game on day one. I don't normally do that anymore, but I was just like, yeah, I'll play the new Assassin's Creed. Why not? I spent money on this box and I'm going to play that. And instead I keep playing Tetris, but that's not the point. If you're starved for content, I cannot really say that like the Series X and the PS5 version have ray tracing. Like, that's cool, but unless you've got a 120 hertz TV and you really want to play in 120 hertz, which this game does support fairly well, I can't say that, you should run out and spend $70 on it. I just can't. I can't say that. And I think that's kind of where I would wrap it up, is just saying, like, it's fine, but $70 that's just too much, man. Like, I can't in good faith say you should go play this for that amount.
I'm going to echo those exact sentiments. It's just, I'm sorry. It's just more Call of Duty for a higher price tag. It's really, it's an experiment that part of me hopes backfires in Call of Duty. I mean, in Activision's face, where it's like, okay, next time we'll do things a little bit different, because to charge the extra cash just because that's where we're at right now. It's just because it's just because it's next gen. There's no other reason than that, and you're not giving me more than but I got Modern Warfare, which is, again, I was saying, if you live in Modern Warfare, that's where your life has been. That's where your guns have. That's where all your XP in your guns have been. That's where all your XP in your characters and unlocking operators, and that's where everything has been. There's no reason at all, in my mind, for you to say, here's an additional $75 for me to start all over and learn all over again. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm curious to see how that's going to go going forward as well, considering next year you're getting another Call of Duty, most likely. So it's like, are they asking you to forget your battle passes and your skins and your guns and your characters again in 12 months to pay another $75? And are people still going to do it? That's the thing I'm most interested in, because I'm not interested at all in Cold War. If you want me to play some Warzone and Modern Warfare, I could do that.
Yeah, I think I too, I'm very interested to see how I'm more interested to see the tale of Modern Warfare at this point. I'm interested to see how much they keep supporting that game, because as with, normally what happens is they do those 2 to 3 DLC packs for the game and people still play it, but then they move on. I haven't really seen what the trajectory of the content for Modern Warfare is going to be. Are they going to stop with that game? Are they going to stop doing weapons? Are they going to move strictly to Cold War? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm with you in that it's going to be interesting to see how the battle pass and just the overall business plan of Call of Duty changes going forward. I think it would be beneficial for them to do something else. I think it's time for them to start looking at something else. And I say that as a fan of Call of Duty. I want to see them support their games longer, and I would be more willing to give them money to elongate the life of a very good game versus that old business model of trying to put down money on a new game, especially, again, at that higher price tag. That's another thing where, as we normally talk about or we talk on a podcast about a service for video games, that $70 price tag is a
joke.
I don't want to say deterrent. Yeah, maybe. But it again makes you look at Game Pass and just be like, man, like, if you have an Xbox, you need to have Game Pass. Like, there's so much good stuff on there. And then I look at the price of a game. One Call of Duty game is $75. And from what I also understand, in Europe, they were already paying more. And if you do the conversion, it's like $90. Like, and then I look at something like Game Pass and I'm just like, man, unless you're a Call of Duty fanatic, hop on Game Pass for 3 months, which is still going to be half the price or more or less, depending on your region of the world. And you've got a whole lot of content to play. It's weird. So that $70 price tag it hurts, man. Like it genuinely hurts this game in my opinion.
I've been saying it for years. Like, if any game series can go straight subscription model, it should be Call of Duty. Like, just make that one good game that people like and just build off that. Like I think you got that with Modern Warfare for the most part. I think most people, I would go with like 9 out of 10 people who play Call of Duty picked up Modern Warfare like, this is it. This just give me more of this. And if you got a new system, just give me this with better graphics. Like, and just keep adding on to it, and just turn that in and of itself into a service. Like, you don't need to, because let's be honest, if you're a Call of Duty fanatic, as you put it, like, and you're buying every Call of Duty, it's a service for you anyway. So they might as well just make it a flat out service and just include things with it. But as it stands right now, like, there's no way, just zero way you would give me to buy this game. Even at $60, I'm not buying this game.
Right. At 60, again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like, at $60, there are times where the new Call of Duty, I'm like, yeah, I think you should give it a shot. Like, I think it might click with you, et cetera. But when you start looking at that 75, and again, that's only if you're on PS5 and Xbox Series X, that's the other thing. How, like, the fact that it's $75 only on PS5, Series X, and S, and not on PC, which PC is theoretically going to have the quote best experience as long as you've got the hardware, again, goes to what you said about it's $75 or $70, MSRP, because it can be. Like, if they truly thought they needed to charge $70 to make their money back, the PC version would be $70 too. But it's not, specifically because they would just say no. Like, PC players would be like, no, we're not paying $70 for that. We're not going to do that.
Absolutely. Right, and that's the perfect. That's the perfect example. Like, there's no way that a PC player is going to overpay for anything, really, because we're just so used to having, even playing online. It's just like the fact that I have PSN Plus, it baffles me every year I get that charge. It's just like, I hate the fact that I'm paying to pay online, even though, like, PC is like, there's no point in doing that. Like, there's no point in doing that. There's no point in paying extra for a better looking game. Like, you just make the good looking game. Like, it's just part of the job. Like, and it's like, it's a very weird time we're in, and I'm just very curious to see how games like Call of Duty perform. Like, I expect something like a Demon's Souls remake to get the $70, the people to pay into that. Like, I really do, just because it's PlayStation fans and they Demon's Souls, whatever. But Call of Duty and games like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and stuff like that, I'm just wondering how that's going to do long term at $70.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see it as well. But we're not there, unfortunately. So we'll have to maybe revisit this next year, and we'll see what happens. But I think we've said all we can really say on this quote bonus episode. And as always, we encourage you, if you want to talk to us about this topic, you can leave us a voicemail, 574-651-9256. Again, that's 574-651-9256, or shoot a text message there. You can email us, gpopfans@gmail.com. That's gpopfans@gmail.com. So, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
If you want to call us, you have a number.
Said that already. What I was going to say is our normal episode, our next one is, so we're working on Destiny 2, so it'll likely be that, but if not, it'll be Unruly Heroes. Destiny 2 is going to be another one of I got a lot to say about that. I got a lot to say about that Beyond Light expansion pack, as well as all the new stuff that they've talked about. So even though that Series X patch is not, and PS5 patch is not technically out, all that's really going to do is up some of the graphic fidelity and stuff. But all that new content is actually out, so we'll be able to talk about that. But so that'll either be, that's what I'm looking for. That'll be the next on deck. If not, it'll be Unruly Heroes. But I think that's going to do it for this bonus episode on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And I guess we'll see you next time with Destiny 2 or Unruly Heroes.
Good day, sirs.
And we are out.
Top reasons your dog wants you to move to Ohio. Amazing dog parks to stretch your legs. All 4 of them. Dog-friendly patios. Even gourmet hot dogs loaded with the good stuff. Bon appetit. And Ohio has so many high-paying jobs, you'll be top dog in no time. Jobs in technology, engineering, science, advanced manufacturing, and more. The career you want and a life you'll love. Have it all in the heart of it all. Go to callohiohome.com.
Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.
The heat is here, and your AC is working overtime to keep your home cool. Did you know a dirty air filter can make your AC unit work even harder? Keep your AC running smoothly while helping improve your indoor air quality by installing a Filtrete MPR 1900 air filter. It captures 24% more particles in the air than the MERV 13 industry standard, all while letting cleaner, cooler air through. Cleaner air, reliable airflow.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.